Alright. Going live. Awesome. Hello everyone, this is Robert from Windy Corner TV with a live stream of Gran Turismo on the PSP, the PlayStation Portable. We're going to rev the nuts out of that engine. We're going to put the gearbox straight into number 6 with this epic live stream. Yeah, probably not. It's just going to be pretty chilled and relaxed and laid back. So, I've still got my original copy of Gran Turismo on the PSP that I got back in 2009. I got this on launch day, which was the 1st of October 2009, which was also the same day that the PSP Go came out. Now, I do have a PSP Go somewhere, but I don't remember where I put it, so I don't have it handy. So we're just going to just lay back, just do some fun races, because, I mean, that's what Gran Turismo on the PSP is all about. It's just doing some random races with your favorite cars on your favorite tracks. So I might start with this really cool European track. Oh, is that my headphone? That's my headphones echoing in the background. Alright, we'll just unplug my headphones. Alright, let's go. Alright, let's start with the first race. It wouldn't be a live stream without some sort of technical hiccup. Alright. And let's go. So, essentially, Gran Turismo PSP is, I guess, kind of like Gran Turismo 4 when you think about it, because so originally at E3 2004, Polyphony Digital announced we're going to be making this portable version of Gran Turismo 4. It's going to be awesome, it's going to be epic, and then they probably realized that was a bit too difficult to do. It was like a bit of a difficult undertaking. So eventually we got Gran Turismo PSP 5 years later. So pretty much almost all the assets have been pulled straight from Gran Turismo 4. So this car, the Cezette V6, I think it's called, and the Ford GT40, these are all from Gran Turismo 4, and so is this track. So essentially you got all the tracks, almost all the tracks from Gran Turismo 4. I do believe the Hong Kong track isn't present, that's completely gone, which is a shame because it's a really good looking track. Alright, just try and tackle this, and yeah, I'm probably not the best driver, but yeah, Gran Turismo on the PSP, it's a really impressive technical achievement. Like, you've got 50 tracks, 800 cars, and the game runs at 60 frames per second. And it's also got this really interesting attempt at implementing temporal anti-aliasing. Temporary, I don't know how you pronounce it. Just say TAA. So basically the game, what it does is that the camera constantly goes left and right constantly. So every second frame, the camera goes back and forth, and this creates the illusion of anti-aliasing. It kind of smooths out the jaggies, which looks great on the PSP's LCD because the latency of the LCD kind of covers up all the shimmering artifacts. But on a big screen, and you've probably seen this on the live stream, the image has a lot of shimmering, like it's like shaking a lot. That's because of the anti-aliasing technique in place here. I really screwed up that corner. You have to really brake pretty hard, and yeah, like I just have to... Yeah, that's a really tough corner. Alright, a bit rusty on my Gran Turismo. Alright, let's go. So I'm just gonna make funny rev noises because I'm immature. Alright. Whoop. It's a bit of an interesting leg of the track. The car just sort of just goes off like a rocket. Just takes off like a plane. So yeah, I'm streaming Gran Turismo on the PSP as a blatant attempt to save my stagnating channel by capitalizing on the hype of the new Gran Turismo movie directed by Neil Blomkamp. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm an Australian. I'm terrible at pronouncing foreign names. I just expect everyone to be called Ben, Nigel, and Robert. I can't deal with any names that are exotic or different. I just expect everyone to just be called Nigel or Bruce, and that's it. But yeah, Neil Blomkamp, great director. He did District 9, and I saw the Gran Turismo movie a week ago. I saw it a week earlier because I was invited to the press screening that was hosted by Sony Pictures Australia. It was a really cool party. They had a DJ. They had 2 simulators with Gran Turismo 7. The game is clearly a glorified ad for Gran Turismo 7 because Gran Turismo sales of... I mean, the series still does well, but it's not doing the same numbers that it was doing during the peak of the franchise, when... back in the day, like, Gran Turismo 3 was just selling incredibly well. I think to this day, it's the second best-selling game on the PS2 after San Andreas. Gran Turismo did insane numbers. Gran Turismo 1 was the best-selling game on the PS1. And I think the problem is with Gran Turismo that it just kind of lost a lot of... I think it lost a lot of momentum because of Gran Turismo 5's lengthy development time. Because, Gran Turismo 5 took forever to come out. It took, 6 years, that a very lengthy development cycle. Now, while today that's very typical, like, 5 to 6 years is a typical development cycle, at the time, that was almost unheard of for a game to take that long to make. And then Gran Turismo Sport came out, and Gran Turismo Sport's still a good game, but I feel like it kind of alienated a huge chunk of the fan base with its emphasis on esports and online racing. And... I think Gran Turismo 7 is like the first true Gran Turismo experience to come out in a very timely fashion because, Gran Turismo 6 came out at the end of the PS3's life cycle. In fact, it came out after the PS4 came out. So at that point, people were ready to move on. So when you think about the last Gran Turismo game to sort of launch in a timely fashion with a lot of momentum was Gran Turismo 4. Now, Gran Turismo 5, 6, and Sport, they all sold very well. But I feel like Gran Turismo lost a lot of momentum because of Gran Turismo 5's long development cycle, Gran Turismo 6 being a late PS3 game, and Gran Turismo Sport taking having a complete policy shift towards online racing and esports. Let's pick a simple track, the Autumn Ring Mini, classic track. We'll go for a nice slower car. So let's go with... Let's go with an Alfa Romero. We'll go with... Oh, this car looks cool. We'll go with this. Nice little European hatchback. So how's the stream going? Green, no dropped frames. Love it. Love it. I love that. Alright, let's do this race. So yeah, just another very chill live stream because I just prefer live streaming driving games because I don't need to wear headphones. I can just, it's very chill gameplay. I don't have to really focus on any story beats or puzzles. And not to say I don't really like story-driven games. It's just driving games are just very chilled and relaxed. Like I feel like I can just relax and just chill and makes for a very fun live stream. I think so. I couldn't imagine being one of those live streamers that does like Fortnite or PUBG where it's like high pressure situation, like with high stakes. Yeah. But I do respect people who can do live streams of like esports games or competitive games because man, just having the pressure of having to play the game well, win the match, and also entertain the crowd, put on a show for your audience on Twitch. So I have to give them a salute. So yeah, the good old Autumn Ring, which has been a staple of the Gran Turismo series since the very first game. Always great to see this game included. I know Forza kind of made a similar track. It was called Maple Valley. Hopefully that track makes a return in the new Forza game. Man, I'm really hyped for the new Forza game coming out in October. That's going to be awesome. There's actually a lot of driving games coming out this year. We've got the new Crew, I think it's called Crew Motorfest. There's also the new WRC game being developed by Codemasters. That will be awesome. Still waiting for EA to actually announce that, which I love. What I love about WRC 23 is there's been so many leaks of the game. For example, a data mine has found all the trophies and achievements for the game, and even a tentative release window, which was supposed to be I believe it was supposed to be the 23rd of July. It was supposed to come out, and it didn't. They haven't even announced the game. Maybe they're going to release the game to coincide with the final round of the WRC in Japan, which I believe the final round of the WRC is in November. It's being hosted in Toyota City in Japan. Yep, there is a city in Japan called Toyota, named after the car manufacturer. I don't think it was originally called Toyota. They just changed the name after the Toyota Corporation became really big. Let's pick another track. Let's go with the High Speed Ring. Nice reliable track. We'll pick a high speed car to complement that track. Let's go with Ferrari Enzo. Named after the founder of the company, Enzo Ferrari. Alright, let's go. So, yeah, I played the hell out of this game when it first came out launch. Like, the idea of having Gran Turismo on the go was such an exciting prospect. And the PSP had a lot of really good driving games. It's actually incredible how many high-quality driving games came on the system. Like, you had 6 Need for Speed games, Motorstorm Arctic Edge, which is a great game, developed by Big, the same people who did Pursuit Force. You also have an excellent conversion of Test Drive Unlimited on the PSP, which was developed by Melbourne House, which is sadly a studio that no longer exists. But they did such an incredible job, like making a demake of Test Drive Unlimited for the PSP and the PS2. And the PSP version is identical to the PS2 version, with the exception of no longer having a cockpit view. But other than that, it's identical to the PS2 version. It's got all 1,000 miles of that Hawaiian island I keep forgetting the name of. But it's a very impressive game on the PSP. I guess the only downside is that it runs at 20 frames per second. Because obviously I assume 30 FPS was just completely off the cards for a game like that. It's a fairly consistent 20 FPS, but there are some frame rate drops. Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, that was another PSP game that ran at 20 FPS, and that's fairly consistent. It's actually kind of surprising how well a 20 FPS update can work if it's consistent. Like, for example, the old Siphon Filter games on the PS1 ran at 20 FPS. GTA 1 and GTA London, they were also 20 FPS on the PS1, although I think the 20 FPS frame rate doesn't work for that game, because if you played GTA on the PS1, the low frame rate and the camera just constantly, the top-down view and the camera just constantly snapping and whizzing all over the place can be a bit distracting. Yeah, it can be a bit straining on the eyes. Yeah, probably not the best driver, because yeah, I think that's one of the problems when you're live streaming, is that you kind of have to split your brain in half. You got to concentrate on the OBS software, the YouTube feed, and of course the video game itself. So yeah, so I do think video streaming, like live streaming games, it is not an easy job, I think, sometimes when you think about that. I know there's been a lot of controversy recently with certain live streamers, and I'm not going to name names, of people who just watch YouTube videos and just eat their breakfast or their dinner. I wish I could do that. I wish I could get paid millions of dollars to do that, just sit back and watch YouTube and eat my breakfast. What I should do one day is I should, if you ever played Space Channel 5 on the PS2 or the Dreamcast, there's this mode where the game plays itself. Like, there's a cheat code and the game will play itself. I want to do that, And while the game's playing itself, I'm just going to eat like an entire bag of chips and just be like obnoxiously eating them while chewing my mouth open. And just do that. And just do that. That would be fun. That sounds like a fun live stream, huh? Although there'd probably be a hell of a lot of calories that would steal my gains. So since I'm now in a routine of regularly visiting the gym, all those calories would steal my gains. Now, I mean, calories, you shouldn't be afraid of calories, but not calories, I mean carbohydrates. See, I get carbohydrates and calories confused. See, this is the reason why I'm not a jacked muscle man, because I keep getting calories and carbs confused. I'm terrible when it comes to dieting and whatnot. All right, let's go with the Seattle track. Because I'm just a completely dumb, stupid video game nerd playing video games. But anyway, all jokes aside, go to the gym, eat healthy foods, and you'll become a big Jack Brickhouse. Okay, probably not. Alright, let's go. Broom, broom, broom. Now, the Seattle track, which debuted in Gran Turismo 2, if I remember correctly. Although on the PS1 it ran at 30 FPS. Now we got that beautiful 60 FPS frame rate. Yeah, the Seattle track was always a very impressive track. I always loved the like especially on the PS2 with Gran Turismo 3, there was that really fantastic like lens flare effect. Where the sun like the sun just pierces through the buildings, and it just looks really good. Like like the Seattle track always had a very nice warm feeling on Gran Turismo 3, and I think that really defined the aesthetic of Gran Turismo 3. I don't know what it is about Gran Turismo 3, but it has such a more warmer aesthetic compared to other Gran Turismo games. Something about like the color hue, just the way the sun was positioned, the time of day. Where I think after starting with Gran Turismo 4, the lighting became a bit too, I guess, more realistic, a bit more darker, I guess. Where Gran Turismo 3 was just obnoxiously sunny, bright, and colorful. I kind of miss that aesthetic. Man, it actually really impresses me like how good the tracks still look on the PSP. Like, look at the geometry, like look at that infrastructure on the left side of the track. Like, look at that, you even got like even though those are cardboard cutouts, like it's still pretty cool. Like you have a packed grandstand. Like this is all very, very impressive when you think about it. Like it's kind of funny when we look back at Gran Turismo PSP, the reception around it was very negative because the game didn't have a proper career mode. You kind of have to make your own fun when you play this game. But it's still like a very impressive achievement when you think about it. Like they essentially took almost every track from Gran Turismo 4, with the exception of like the Hong Kong track, which I guess maybe they had difficulties bringing that to the PSP because it is a very dense track with very complex geometry. But it's really impressive when you think about that they took almost every asset from Gran Turismo 4, translated them over to the PSP, and the game runs at 60 frames per second. And they also ported the physics engine from Gran Turismo 5. The physics and the controls feel really good. I guess the only downside is the engine noises suck. They sound like vacuum cleaners, which seems to be a hallmark of the Gran Turismo games. The AI isn't particularly great. And the grid size had to be downgraded to just 4 cars. I imagine that 60 FPS target was very important. Like, I'm pretty sure you could probably have doubled the grid to 8 cars, but you would have lost frame rate. The frame rate would have been downgraded to 30, and I do assume they would have to reduce the graphics. So obviously the visuals and the frame rate were the priority for this game. But it's still really impressive when you think about that. Like, how many racing games still come out on the Switch and run at 30 FPS? Like, you look at Gear Club Unlimited 2, driving game built specifically for the Switch, it runs at 30 FPS. Although even the PS5 version is not a consistent 60 FPS. Like, if you played Gear Club Unlimited 2 on the PS5, it does not run at a smooth 60 FPS. Like, it's constantly just hanging around the low 50s, and it's very distracting. Like, there's just so much visual judder. It's just not great to play. I guess if you have a television with Um, FreeSync, no, variable refresh rate. It can definitely smooth it out a bit. So it's definitely one game that really benefits from variable refresh rate. And I actually do have a television that supports variable refresh rate. I've got an LG C2, really good television. Like, I've seen the light. I've joined the OLED TV club. Okay. Actually, let's go shopping. Let's buy some cars. Now, now this is the thing is, Gran Turismo, I think a good analogy is that it's essentially Pokemon with cars. It really is. Like, and I do think Gran Turismo the PSP kind of embraces this the most because so the cool thing about Gran Turismo on the PSP was you could meet up with other friends who own Gran Turismo on the PSP and merge your garage together, which is pretty cool. So you basically sync up. Now, some cars, like this car, for example, is not shareable. So you have to trade it. So a car that's marked as shareable, and 90% of the cars in this game are shareable. So you basically meet up with a friend, you connect your PSPs via ad hoc, and you can merge your garage together, which is pretty cool. Now, one annoying aspect about Gran Turismo on the PSP, and I freaking hate this, and I think Tekken 5 also had the same problem, is you cannot copy your save file to another PSP, which is super annoying. So, for example, if you got a new PSP, unfortunately, you have to start afresh, you know. Although you can mitigate this a bit. So, for example, you need 2 copies of the game, 2 PSPs, and you sync them up so you can transfer your car garage over to one to another. But you can't just copy your save file to another PSP because if you do that, it says, nah, this game has copy protection. You have to start a brand new save file, which is super annoying. So it's one of 2 PSP games that did that, and I freaking hate that, you know. Yeah, so annoying. You know, I got that car. I got the Toyota. No, I don't. Ooh, better buy that. This is the Toyota 2000 GT, the car that was in which James Bond film was it? Oh yeah, You Only Live Twice. So the funny thing is, if you watch You Only Live Twice, they cut off the roof for this car in the film because Sean Connery is a tall man, like he's over 6 foot tall, and he couldn't fit in the car, so they converted the car into a convertible just for that film because he couldn't fit into the car. Now, I've seen the Toyota 2000 GT, not the same one from You Only Live Twice, but they had one at the Mega Web in Tokyo. So if you ever visit Tokyo, there's this really cool car museum called the Mega Web, and entry is completely free, and it's massive. It's really cool. Like, it's mainly comprised of just Toyota cars because it's run by Toyota, but it's really cool. Like, I recommend visiting it. And they also actually had some Gran Turismo stuff there. So I went there in 2016. So they had Gran Turismo 6 set up with a simulator setup, you know, and it was really cool. So you could race a bunch of people with a land setup, which was a lot of fun. Which, yeah, that shows you how long ago that was. 2006, it was Gran Turismo 6 on the PS3. All right, let's pick a track. Let's go to South Korea. And let's see if we can pick out a South Korean car. What? Hyundai? Could be like a cool... What's that, Hyundai... No, South Korean supercar manufacturer. I was trying to remember what it was called. Oh, there you go. Proto Motors. That's a South Korean company. They made a really cool supercar. So to my fellow Koreans, driving a Korean car just for you on the Korean track. Although Korean chicken and parsnip are like 2 foods I don't like to eat anymore. Because there's a funny story behind this. So I got really bad food poisoning from eating Korean chicken once. And Korean chicken is fantastic, but unfortunately I got bad food poisoning. I think one of them had a feather in it. Like I said, not knocking Korean chicken, it's awesome. But sadly, it's just... Anytime I try to eat Korean chicken now, I just kind of have like those flashbacks of when I got really bad food poisoning, and that's sad. Because I love Korean chicken. But anyway, if you haven't tried Korean chicken, you should. Like, if you looked up the word pleasure in the dictionary, it has a picture of Korean chicken. So I highly recommend it. It's just, unfortunately, it's been tainted for me. And yeah, it's kind of sad. Maybe one day I'll heal and I can start indulging in Korean chicken. Just eat like 10 pieces. Now I'm sure my friend Super Jump Reviews, now if you never watched his YouTube channel, you should. He makes really good content and his videos are in true 4K. He captures all his footage in 4K. So if you want some good recommendations for games to play on your PS5, hit him up. But I do agree with his complaints with Gran Turismo 7. There's just a complete distinct lack of like city courses. Like Gran Turismo 7, you know, skews towards like real world tracks. And yeah, it's just a complete lack of city tracks. Like Gran Turismo 4, Gran Turismo on the PSP, and even Gran Turismo 5 had a decent selection of, you know, city tracks, and that's all gone in Gran Turismo 7. Like South Korea, Tokyo Route 246, London, Rome, Seattle. Where did they go? Where did you go? Bring them back, Polyphony Digital. That's what I want to see. I think we all want to see some city tracks again. Although, if you want a game with some good city-based tracks, play the F1 video games. Like, the new one, F1 23, has that awesome Las Vegas track, which looks spectacular. Looks amazing in 4K if you got a 4K television. See, there you go. I'm just bragging about my 4K TV again. I mean, it wouldn't be a live stream, a gaming live stream, unless you can't brag about your television. So, but yeah, I've got the collector's edition of Gran Turismo on the PSP. So if you pre-ordered Gran Turismo on the PSP from EB Games, which I did, you got this really cool special edition with a slip cover, which is pretty cool. This collector's edition includes, let's see if I can get it out. Oh yeah. So it includes, oops. It includes these postcards with the Bugatti Veyron, which is pretty cool. So you get a bunch of these. And you also got a DLC code for... I'm not going to show on stream, although the code probably wouldn't work. I mean, it expired in 2012, but you got a code for a black Bugatti Veyron, which is pretty cool. So yeah, pretty cool little collector's edition. And that's one thing people do forget is the PSP actually had DLC. There was DLC for the system. And unfortunately, the PSP did fall plague to the dreaded online pass. If you remember games like Mod Nation Racers and Patapon Free had a bloody online pass. That's one thing I definitely don't miss about that era of gaming was the online pass. Ooh, just getting shivers thinking about it again. I don't remember the loading times being that bad. I mean, it's not too bad. All right, let's pick. Let's go to New York City, and I also believe Forza also had the New York track with a very similar layout as well. At least I think the first and second game did. It's been a while. All right, let's pick an American car. What's a good American car? Let's go Chevrolet. Yeah, let's go with the Corvette, which was a car they added to Gran Turismo on the PSP. This car was not in Gran Turismo 4, so yeah, I got the Corvette from 2009, which is on the cover of the game, which is pretty cool. So, alright, so we've done South Korean cars. Now let's go American. Get some American muscle cars. Now, I've actually been to New York City. And New York City is really cool. Like, there is so much stuff to do in New York City. My only problem in New York City is the pollution. Like, yeah, the air was pretty dirty. Like, I feel like I had to constantly wipe my face with a cloth every 30 minutes. Like, yeah, yeah, that was my only complaint, you know. But other than that, New York City is a pretty epic city. Like, just like, I feel like there's just infinite possibilities for stuff to do over there. Um, but yeah, I think if they had cleaner air, I wouldn't mind living there. All right, let's go, New York City. Yeah, man, I remember this track on Gran Turismo 4. Such an impressive track, you know. Like I said, that's one thing that Gran Turismo 4 really leaned into was, you know, these city tracks, you know, because I guess they really wanted to show off like the power of the PS2 and the advancements with their new engine. Like, look at this. Look at these city environments with this dense geometry, and it's more impressive on the PSP when you think about it. Like, just look how dense the environment is. You know, it's very impressive when you think about it. This is on the like a handheld with a, you know, a 333 megahertz MIPS CPU. You know, with only 32 megabytes of RAM or 64 megabytes of RAM on the PSP 2000 and future models. It's very impressive when you think about that he managed to get this to work on the PSP at 60 frames per second. I know I keep bringing up the frame rate, but it's still very impressive. Like, when you think about it, like, this looks like New York City. Like, you can just look at this and say, oh, this is New York City, you know. And I think that's really impressive, like, you know, what they managed to achieve. And the PSP was pretty old at this point. Like, in 2009, the PSP was 5 years old. And the fact you got a game like this on what was, like, pretty much at the time ancient hardware is pretty impressive. And it's kind of sad when you think about what happened to the PSP, because the PSP, when it first came out, it was a huge hit. Like, in the UK, it was the fastest selling console. Like, it beat the previous record holder, the DS, by more than 200%. And everybody wanted the PSP. Like, it was like the hot new thing that everybody wanted. And then suddenly, it just sort of fell off the face of the earth. Like, I feel like after Crisis Core came out, or Chains of Olympus, like early 2008, people just stopped caring about the PSP. And I think it's just a combination of the DS, you know, capitalizing on this brand new market that nobody knew existed, the casual demographic. And that's one thing I do find interesting about Nintendo consoles, the successful ones, is they kind of just, like, this is what me and Superjump were talking about, like, with Nintendo consoles, is that they kind of come out of left field. Like the DS, when it initially came out, there was a bit of hype behind it, but people were more hyped for the PSP. But the DS ended up destroying the PSP. Like, it sold far more units. And the same thing with the Switch. Like, we're both reminiscing about the launch of the Switch. When the Switch came out, there just wasn't that much excitement for the Switch, you know. And I think it's just because at the time in early 2017, like, people thought Nintendo wasn't coming back. Like 2016 was a rough year for Nintendo. Like, they had a string of pretty mediocre releases. And, you know, even though the 3DS did well, it only sold half the number of units that the DS achieved. And the Wii U certainly didn't achieve half of what the Wii achieved. Like the Wii U only sold less than 20 million units, which is only 1/5. Like, I think it was like 15% of what the original Wii did. So Nintendo kind of fell off the face of the earth for a couple of years. And when the Switch came out, there just wasn't that much hype for it. Like, I remember going to launch of the Switch. So I went to Big W at, like, opening hours. Like, it was like 8 a.m. in the morning. I was waiting there, and only 2 other people showed up to purchase the Switch. There was one other guy who was there to buy Breath of the Wild on the Wii U, and we all gave him wet willies and wedgies because he was a loser for still playing the Wii U. No, we didn't do that. But yeah, like, you could easily buy a Switch at launch everywhere. Like, it wasn't like the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, which sold out at launch. Like, you couldn't buy one of those things for a long time. Like, it's only recently that both companies are able to keep up with demand for each system. But yeah, it's kind of impressive when you think about that. Like, let's do Monte Carlo with a Formula One car. Yeah. So it's fascinating when you think about like the Switch has been as successful as it has been now. Like it's now they've sold 130 million Nintendo Switch consoles now, and it could potentially overtake, dethrone the PS2 as the best-selling console of all time. It could potentially happen. And it's just funny when you think about it in hindsight. Like, I was there on day one for the Switch, and there just really wasn't that much excitement around the Switch. You know, it was like, it took a while for the Switch to become a thing. And I think the Switch became successful. Like, I think when the Switch really took off like a rocket was during COVID, like the COVID lockdowns. Like, having a game like Animal Crossing ready to go, this game built around socializing when people had to stay at home, was perfect timing. Like, I mean, it was just more of a happy accident. But Nintendo also had these other games that were really appealing to people during lockdown, like Ring Fit Adventure. Now, Ring Fit Adventure, when that came out, it didn't sell that well. Like, it was like, it didn't come close to the same numbers as Wii Fit. But when COVID took off, people needed an alternative to the gym, and CrossFit took off like a rocket. And so did Just Dance. Just Dance was very popular. So if you went into the Amazon best-selling games, like the list of the best-selling games on Amazon, it was always dominated by the likes of Ring Fit, Just Dance, and Animal Crossing. I think those were the three games that helped the Switch take off like a rocket during the COVID lockdowns. Yeah. I do think that was the key moment when I noticed the Switch was becoming a thing. Like, the Switch just was like the must-have system. And I also think because Sony and Microsoft struggled to keep up with demand for their new consoles, that Nintendo kind of was able to capitalize on people who wanted a new console, but they couldn't get a PS5 or Series X. Now, it'll be interesting to see how the Switch fares, because obviously the hardware is aging, and the PS5 and the Series X are finally meeting demand. There's a lot of cool games coming out for each system. For example, Starfield is coming out next month. That's going to be a huge driving force for the sales of the Xbox Series X. I think it's the most important Xbox game since Halo 3. No denying, like, Starfield is the most important game on the Xbox since Halo 3. There's definitely a lot of excitement and momentum behind that game, and I hope Starfield is ready to go, because, like, Starfield cannot be buggy or broken, like, especially after the Redfall debacle. Like, Microsoft needs that game to be perfect. Like, they need to knock it out of the park, you know, because I don't think the Xbox brand can take another beating after the Redfall debacle. And, of course, 2022 being completely deprived of any exciting software in the Xbox ecosystem. Like, Microsoft had a really strong 2021. Like, they were the highest rated publisher on Metacritic. But in 2022, it didn't seem like they have any killer games. But I do think Starfield and Forza, you know, a nice two-punch combo, I think is going to be a really good lineup for, you know, the holiday season for the new Xbox, you know, and I think there's a good chance it could do a good job of boosting the sales of the Xbox. I do love that. I'm streaming Gran Turismo and I'm talking about the Xbox and Nintendo. I mean, I can do whatever I want. This is my live stream, my rules. Let's see if I can win this race. Sneak up. Sneak in there. There we go. Yeah. My man, first place in the Polyphony Digital Formula 1, because we couldn't afford the license, the F1 license. Although I think there is a Ferrari F1 in this game. All right, let's go shopping again. Let's go shopping. Let's sing the shopping song. I should sing Snoop Dogg's Gran Turismo rap. Okay, now that was my biggest complaint about the Gran Turismo movie. I'm going to spoil the Gran Turismo movie, everyone. There is no music from the games at all. No Moon of the Castle, no Soul on Display, and no Snoop Dogg Gran Turismo rap. And I was really disappointed. Like, I was expecting at least Moon of the Castle during the end credits. Nope, you got none of that. Yeah, I mean, the music they had in the film was okay, but I don't know. I feel like it would have been great if they just chucked in some songs from the games. It's kind of disappointing. I don't know, at least if I was making the film or editing it, I would sprinkle in some Gran Turismo songs. Alright, let's buy some cars. Let's buy a Vauxhall. Okay, buy that one. Toyota Corolla rally car. Let's do a rally race. That'd be cool. Let's do one of those. Let's do a rally race. That'd be fun. I think that'll be fun. Nice change of pace. Ski on. I think there's a brand that exists in Australia. Oh, that's a nice flash car. Alright. Alright, I got my fill. Alright, let's get back on the horse and do another race. I mean, they should add horse racing to Gran Turismo. I mean, it's got NASCAR, it's got open wheel races, it's got go-karts. Yeah, just add horses. Let's do a rally race. Alright, in honor of my good friend Qualbert, we'll jump in the Impreza rally car. Oh, let's do the Grand Canyon track. Yeah, the Grand Canyon track's always a cool track. Oh, this is another track they need to bring back. See, bring back the Grand Canyon track. Man, Gran Turismo 4, when you think about it, had the best tracks of any Gran Turismo game. I can definitely see why people consider it to be the GOAT of the franchise. Yeah, I would do a live stream of Gran Turismo 4, but I'm waiting on doing that fan mod for the PS2. You know, there's a mod for the PS2 we can make the fan, like, super quiet. Because if I did a live stream of a PS2 game now, it would just be like... You just hear the fan noise. And that would be really annoying. Okay, so when I get that fan mod done, we can do some PS2 live streams. And I can definitely capture PS2 footage. Like, I got a RetroTink 5X, you know, probably the best video upscaler you can buy. So it's certainly feasible. Now... It's clear they had to downgrade this track a bit for the PSP. So if you ever played Gran Turismo 4 on the PS2, the Grand Crayon... no, the Grand Canyon track has this really good crowd simulation where where the crowd sort of just jumps in front of you and takes a photograph of your car. You know, you watch those old videos of, you know, rallies in the 80s and 90s. You have a lot of spectators who just like really close to the car and just jump out and take photographs, which is really scary, man. I couldn't imagine being a driver during those days, like being in such close proximity to the audience, which probably explains why nowadays the audience has to be much further away from the track. But yeah, the Grand Canyon track had an awesome crowd simulation, which was really impressive. But obviously that's gone in the PSP version, because I imagine that was very taxing for the hardware. I imagine the frame rate was probably like 10 FPS, so once they removed it, they were able to improve the performance, so yeah. But this is a very impressive track on the PS2. If you ever get Gran Turismo 4 on the PS2, fire it up, play through the Grand Canyon track. It's an awesome track, one of the best in the game. So yeah. So this live stream has been terrible when it comes to staying on topic. I'm not talking about Gran Turismo on the PSP. I'm reminiscing about Gran Turismo 4 on the PS2. I'm talking about the Nintendo Switch. I'm talking about Starfield. It's great. It's complete. It's a sandbox live stream. It's not linear, and people prefer sandbox games. Yeah, this is I'm not the best driver, so I assume the comments are going to grill me for my terrible driving skills. I'm actually doing this on purpose, just to... Because I don't want to be a show-off. Like, I want to be seen as the regular Joe. That's why I'm holding back my epic Gran Turismo driving skills. Nah, I just suck. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while, so I definitely have to get back in the groove and get a feel for the game. Like, I mean, I think it's... You know, I played a lot of Gran Turismo. Like, once I play the game a bit, I can conjure up, you know, that muscle memory that I developed back in the day for each game. Although I'm way ahead of the competition. So I'm probably driving well if I'm 14 seconds ahead of the guy in second place. Whoops. I love that invisible walls. Yeah, the invisible walls certainly gives away the game's age. Okay, let's go boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. You know, I just like make funny noises. That's what I love. I'm a man in my 30s, but I'm still gonna make vroom vroom noises, like I'm playing with my Matchbox cars or Hot Wheel cars on the ground, going vroom 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 vroom. Oops. do 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 do. You know, one of my dreams is definitely to spectate the WRC. It's kind of a shame the WRC is no longer hosted in Coffs Harbour in Australia, New South Wales, because I always wanted to go down there one day, you know, and spectate the rally in Coffs Harbour. I've actually spoken to a couple of locals from Coffs Harbour. I actually spoke to a woman who was a teacher at a school in Coffs Harbour, and she told me about that one time, you know, one of the WRC drivers actually visited the school, which is a pretty cool story. So, yeah, whenever I meet someone from Coffs Harbour, I've got to talk about the WRC. I've got to talk about the WRC. And it's pretty cool how a lot of the locals at Coffs Harbour are all familiar with the WRC. Like, it was a big event for the town. So it's pretty cool that that almost everyone knows about it. Cool. So hopefully one day the WRC will return to Australia. Hopefully. Yeah, because the thing with the WRC was it was hosted in Coffs Harbour up until 2018. Now they had to cancel the 2019 race because of the Australian bushfires, and 2020 got cancelled because of the you know, COVID lockdowns. So hopefully one day the WRC will return to Australia. At least we still have the Melbourne F1, and one day I would definitely want to go see the F1 in Melbourne. That would be pretty cool. I think it's in Albert Park, if I remember correctly. I'm sure my fellow fans from Melbourne can correct me. You have to forgive me because I'm a stupid, ignorant Brisbanean. Alright. I'm just gonna make vroom 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 noises all the time because I'm really immature. All right, let's yeah, let's try. Let's play. Yeah, let's grab a Mitsubishi Lancer. That'd be pretty cool. The Subaru's natural enemy. All right, let's pick another course. Let's try an ice track. Yeah, Swiss Alps. Oh, actually, that's not ice track. That is mud. See, when I just think of Switzerland, I just think of snow. It's like how everyone thinks of sand, 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 and more sand when they think of Australia. Although there are regions in Australia with snow. I mean, Macquarie Island is like absolutely freezing. So Swiss Alps, this was a track that debuted in Gran Turismo 3. That's where it debuted, was Gran Turismo 3. Good old Gran Turismo 3. See, this whole live stream is just me talking about other Gran Turismo games. Not Gran Turismo PSP, just reminiscing about the whole franchise. Hey, thanks for the love heart, whoever gave me a love heart. Thanks for love. So, maybe we should talk about the Gran Turismo movie, which is the whole reason I'm doing this live stream, is to blatantly capitalize on the hype surrounding the movie. So the movie came out recently in Australia on the 10th of August. I got to see it a week early. I do know the USA release has been pushed back to the 25th, so my fellow Americans, you'll need to wait another 2 weeks. I mean, I feel like I just think it's funny that the Gran Turismo movie got delayed in the USA. Like, it's almost like... it's almost poetic. Like, it's not a Gran Turismo experience or product without a delay. If anyone remembers, delays are part of the Gran Turismo hype machine. Gran Turismo 4 got delayed by a year because they had so many bugs to squash with the online component, and they just end up cutting it all together. Gran Turismo 5 took forever to come out. Gran Turismo Sport was delayed by a year. Gran Turismo 4 PSP was delayed for many years and eventually became this, Gran Turismo PSP. So the fact that the Gran Turismo movie got delayed by 2 weeks in the USA at the last minute is just poetic. It's just mwah, beautiful. Chef's kiss. I do like those very basic mountains. Low polygon counts, very harsh geometrical edges. Obviously, it'd be simplified a bit for the PSP, but still pretty cool. Like, you look at that, like, oh, that's a Swiss Alps. Like, you can still distinctly look at it, even though it looks very lo-fi and the trees look terrible. Those trees look exactly how I feel. But yeah, going back to the Gran Turismo movie. No, the Gran Turismo movie is pretty cool because I didn't go into it with the highest of expectations. I mean, it is clearly just a blatant billboard for PlayStation. It's just a glorified ad for PlayStation products. But it was really good. Like, I was actually impressed by how good the pacing was, the direction. Like, I think they really conveyed the danger and excitement of racing in a very they handled it very well. Like, they managed to convey the danger and excitement of racing in a really fantastic way that made the film very engaging to watch. Very good pacing. Now, the film is definitely very trope heavy. It's essentially Bend It Like Beckham with cars. I mean, I got that kind of vibe when I was watching the trailers. It's all about, a family who doesn't respect their son's dreams. And the son ignores them and follows his dreams. And, well, spoiler alert, he comes third in the final race. I know, spoiler, I know. He doesn't lose the race. Oh, spoiler, he doesn't come last. Oh, that's it. I'm not watching the film now. Yeah, so I mean, it's a racing. It's a film about motorsport. You can't really spoil it. There's no twists and turns. Like, I mean, how could you make a film like that? I mean, not to say there isn't some great films about motorsport. Like, I think one of my favorite motorsport films is The World's Fastest Indian. I mean, can you consider that to be a motorsport film? I mean, I kind of do. Like, it is technically motorsport setting a land speed record. Even though the film doesn't really have much in the way of actual racing, it's still a great film. I mean, Anthony Hopkins' performance in that film was great. I mean, it's funny because he just essentially plays himself in the film. For GT40. Actually, speaking of GT40, another great motorsport film is Ford versus Ferrari. That's a really good film. Ooh, we'll grab that. That's a pretty cool looking car. Let's grab a Mercedes-Benz. Actually, we should do the Nürburgring. And this game does have the Nürburgring, which is pretty impressive. Mercury? Car brand I'm familiar with. I don't think I've ever seen a Mercury in Australia. Is it one of those brands that's only ever existed in the USA? Alright. Alright, let's do the Nürburgring. I'm so immature. Alright, let's do the Nürburgring. Yeah, we gotta do the Nürburgring. Absolutely. Can I? Alright, let's do a Mercedes-Benz. Let's grab let's grab that car we just brought, the Mercedes-Benz 190. Alright, let's do this. The good old Nürburgring. And that track is featured in the Gran Turismo movie. They go to the Nürburgring, Silverstone, Le Mans. Yeah, I'm sorry, I've already picked the car. I can't pick the MR2 Mark 1. It's a Toyota car, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, let's do the Nürburgring, which is a long track. Do they have the graffiti in this? Yeah, because one of the things I do remember about the Nürburgring is the graffiti on the track. And they've kind of replicated a bit, like it's much more simplified, where in Gran Turismo 4 it's actually quite impressive like how detailed the graffiti on the track is, but obviously here it has to be simplified. Still very impressive nonetheless that you got a huge track like, you know, the Nürburgring on a handheld. Ah yeah, first place, baby. No brakes, no holds, no restrictions, nothing holding me back. Until I crash. Oops. Whoa. That Alfa Romero is getting a bit frisky. But he's not taking my gold medal. See, I had to think about that for a minute. Whoa. Yeah, the AI is dumb as bricks. Like, they just follow the track. They're like slot cars. And they'll just keep, like, crashing into you. So, yeah, it's going to be a pretty long race because this is a big track. I mean, a lap takes, like, 10 minutes. So, this is going to be, like, a 20-minute race. So, I hope you guys enjoy the German scenery. I mean, one day I would love to go to Germany. Go and attend Gamescom, that'd be awesome. I bet the food is also great. Go to Germany, get a nice currywurst. Currywurst is how you pronounce it. You know the curry with the sausages and the chips. That's good stuff. That's good cooking. Alright. Oh, I should mention that clock in the bottom right is completely wrong. It is not 10:30 p.m. It actually is, it's 4:30 p.m. For whatever reason, it's 6 hours out of whack. Probably thinks I'm located in, I don't know, Italy. I don't know what time zone Italy. Actually, no. It'd be 6 hours ahead, so maybe they think I'm based in, I don't know, LA. I don't know, I'm terrible with time zones. I'm a stupid, ignorant Australian. Alright. But anyway, it's supposed to be 4:30 p.m. For whatever reason, it's 6 hours ahead. Don't know why. Can't tell you. So one thing I was reminiscing about was when this game was shown off at E3 2009. Now E3 2009 is special for me because that was the first time I actually watched E3 live. I remember getting up at like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. to watch like the Nintendo or Microsoft conference. Now Sony was their conferences were kind of Australian friendly, like they always did an evening time in LA, which would be early morning in Australia, and so that worked out great. And I remember watching this conference E3 2009 where Kazunori from Polyphony Digital, the creator of Gran Turismo, he got on the stage, he showed Gran Turismo on the PSP, and there was a bit of a meme surrounding that presentation because his translator, so this is, oh man, this is like really ancient internet history. So does anyone remember the translator son meme? So yeah, so Kazunori's like translator was very diligent. Like he was like taking notes on the stage, and he was like really laser focused on taking notes. Like he was just looking at his notepad, and he was doing his job. Like he was doing his job incredibly well. But I think because he was doing such a great job, it just looked funny. Like he was just so laser focused on his notepad, just scribbling notes, not even looking at the crowd or Kazunori, and it just looked so funny, which is why it became a meme. But I do miss that. I do miss that style of presentation. Because I do think the video game industry has become very paranoid on memes, because we do notice, because I remember there was that expose that Kotaku did on Anthem's development, and one of the directives that BioWare got from EA is they want the game to not to have they didn't want the game to embarrass itself by being worthy of memes. What's the word I'm looking for? They didn't want Anthem to look stupid or silly and become a meme. And it definitely, I do get a sense the video game industry is somehow paranoid about memes or the games being viewed as silly or stupid. And it is a bit sad. I do think the game industry sometimes is a bit too... It's kind of this weird paranoia where the game industry kind of wants to be taken seriously, but it doesn't really need to be, because, video games are all about, fun and games, everyone having a laugh, grabbing some beers, everyone's having a good time. But it seems like the game industry is obsessed with wants to be taken seriously, because unfortunately video games always has that stigma of, antisocial people who are dumb, they just lounge around all day playing video games in their boxes, they don't contribute to society, they've got no friends. And I do think the game industry is just so laser focused on avoiding that image. They don't want that playful image. And I think it's part of the reason why we don't have these live conferences anymore, because I think the game industry was never happy about the memes that were spawned from all the screw-ups, or even ones that were unintentional, like Translator Sun at E3 2009. Because like I said, the translator was doing his job correctly. Like he was doing it correctly. Like he was diligently taking notes. And it still became a meme. Like it wasn't a screw up. Like, and that's what's so interesting about that meme was he did nothing wrong, but it just looks so funny because he was just so laser focused on taking notes. And it was funny, and I just miss that aspect of gaming, because nowadays we have these conferences which don't have a face attached to them. Like they're just like, these PR suits or marketing suits, just reading off bullet points. And I just kind of miss that era of gaming where someone involved with the creation of the game would get on stage. You would have a translator if you didn't speak English, and they'd do like a live demonstration, which would be very stressful. And I just miss the era of gaming where you just had these constant screw ups, like these embarrassing moments. Like yeah, they were embarrassing, but they were charming. And recently, NoClip found the original masters for Sony's E3 2006 conference, and it's really bad. Like it's a terrible conference from a marketing standpoint. Like they did a terrible job of selling the PS3. Like that, just so much like marketing, dribble and stuff like that. Just it's a terrible conference. But the few sprinkles of joy come from, the embarrassing moments, like the giant enemy crab. Like, people still remember that to this day. And it's kind of funny that nobody remembers the actual game. Nobody knows about Genji. But the giant enemy crab meme just lives on forever. Like, it's like an idol. Like, I miss that. I miss the era of gaming, when, you had these live presentations of gaming and, the presentations don't go according to plan and you just end up with all these, funny clips, these funny memes. And it just made gaming feel more human. And I just feel like gaming's lost that human element because it's just so heavily controlled. Like, the marketing and ways that games are presented are just so heavily controlled and scripted now. And that's what I do miss, because, you watch the recent batch of showcases, the recent Nintendo Direct, the PlayStation Showcase. It's just trailer, 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 trailer. And while it's great just to have the games being shown, not having all these, like, long... What's the word I'm looking for? Like, executives just showing off pie charts and, sales numbers. Because, I mean, if you watch the original, like, you watch those old E3 conferences, there's a lot of time spent on the business aspect, here's some pie charts of how many consoles were sold in this quarter, blah, 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 blah. But because it was done live, there was always those potentials for screw-ups. But nowadays, it's all scripted and pre-recorded. And, I just miss that. I know I'm just dribbling at this point, just waffling about the old days, but it's something I do miss about watching, E3 back in the day, those live presentations. And, when you just look back at, I just remember those things. I remember, watching the E3 2009 presentation, the Translator Son meme. It was, those are memories that will stay with me for the rest of my life. Which I don't know if that's sad or good. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of a shame. I do think the video game industry has kind of lost its sense of fun, because I think the video game industry wants to enjoy the same clout or prestige as, more established mediums like films and television and novels. But I don't understand why they need that kind of clout, because video games are now the most successful entertainment industry on the planet. Like, they've overtaken films, television, music, and books. Video games don't need to prove themselves of being worthy of attention anymore. They don't have to prove themselves to the world anymore. Like, it's not some new young thing that only Zoomers know about. Like, it's now fully integrated into our culture. Like, I mean, look at all these recent, video game adaptations that are on television and in cinemas. I mean, the highest grossing movie of 2023 is a Super Mario film. Video games don't need to prove themselves, and I just wish the video game industry would just get over that. Like, that, video games don't need to have the same clout or respect as, films or television or novels. Like, they can just be their own thing and, people will love them, Yeah. Yeah, so... And I don't want to sound like one of those people who thinks that gaming in the past was better. It was not. There was a lot of problems with gaming back in the day. Like, I do not miss the days of gaming with stagnated release schedules. Like, today, like, games come out simultaneously around the world, and it's awesome. Back in the day, a game would come out in Japan, come out 2 weeks later in the USA, and probably like 6 or 12 months later in Europe and Australia. And I do not miss those days at all. I do not miss those. I do not miss region locking. I do not miss the online pass that was very predominant during the PS3 and 360 era, and there was also PSP and Vita games that had that stupid online pass. And of course, don't forget the screen tearing. That was in PS3 games. I hate the screen tearing in PS3 games. Man, the PS3 has not aged that well. Like, so many PS3 games had screen tearing. Like, it's enough to give you a sliced retina. Alright. I think this will be the final race, and I'll just end this live stream. I think it's been a fun live stream. I've had fun, and we've had a total of 30 people tune in throughout the live stream. So thank you to everyone who showed up. Even if you only watched a minute, 10 seconds, I just appreciate you showing up. Like, I'm lucky enough to have my own job, my own income stream, so I don't really care about the views by the end of the day. As long as people show up, even if they just watch 10 seconds, that's fine. Like, we're all here to relax, chill, have a good time. And that's what, gaming and internet culture should be. Just people chilling. Just chilling, relaxing, having fun, laid back, on a comfy chair. Oh, whoa, that car sneaking up behind me. I'm not gonna let that Alfa Romero beat me. No, sir. No, sirree, Bob. Alright, let's do the final big long straight. Fortunately, this isn't a very powerful car, so I don't think I'm going to hit 300 kilometers per hour, but we can try. Oh, we can try. Oh, no. We're gonna win. Let's do this. We're going to come first. Yeah! Woo! Yes! I did it! I carried the team to the Super Bowl and we won! Yeah, I might be in my 30s, but I refuse to stop acting like a 10-year-old when it comes to video games. I can still get excited about winning a game. Alright. That's a wrap. You're all dismissed. Class is over. I want you to do your homework for this evening, and yeah, I don't know how to end these streams. Goodbye.